Here now, something a little bit different, but also around that theme of independence, the power of EdTech, and how Chantelle has been using that in her school to try and create impact and independence in students. So over to you, Chantelle.
Thank you. Hello. So just a little bit about me and my set and really what's brought me here today. So I am teacher of English with responsibility for Key Stage 5. In my school, science and maths kind of are king, which in a room full of English teachers, I'm sure it's hard to understand. But we kind of wanted to tap into what was so popular about those subjects. And it is that instant feedback that you can get from maths and science that I'm telling you, I need at least a week to give you some feedback, usually. So we wanted to kind of, as I say, access some of the things that were really popular about those. And in our science department, they've been using EdTech really successfully for years. So we thought we'd shamelessly piggyback on that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we've achieved that. So my school is a oversubscribed school in the north of England, in the town of St. Helens. We've just achieved our very first good in the school's history. And single-handed, probably. And we have a huge amount of pupil premium students at 34.6%. So introducing the tech wasn't the easiest thing because we had to first of all make sure everybody had access to the internet and devices, and weirdly COVID really accelerated that forward because we had to make sure they all had broadband at home and things during that time. There's just a big culture of it really, especially with Tassamai that I'm going to mention today. Our science department, we're flying with that for years, so it's been really easy for us to kind of join in. So our school's been in a really steady pattern of improvement in the last 6 years or so. We've totally overhauled our curriculum, as some people today have been saying as well, mapping it at a really granular level. And there's been a huge emphasis on metacognition, as we've been kind of talking about today quite a lot. We've totally kind of dispensed with PowerPoint at Key Stage 3 and 4. We teach using a visualizer, so this is quite natural to me to have the screen behind me, and the lectern. Actually, we use booklets a lot now, and we found for our neurodiverse students as well, this has been extremely helpful in focusing their attention without all that extraneous information and things on PowerPoint. So yeah, we wanted to bring in something that would help our students retrieve information as and when they needed it, and we thought that using tech, especially for our home learning, was going to be a really good way to aid retrieval practice. A key principle behind our approach to retrieval is that if the student cannot recall it, they never learned it. We've built retrieval starters into all of our activities now, and we're always building on prior knowledge. Staff buy-in with this has been really universal. A lot of us did the Transforming Teachers program with Ambition, which has turned around how we coach. We no longer do formal observations, we coach each other, and retrieval was kind of at the heart of what we were looking at when we were coaching each other. So this is kind of what it was all based on for us, was the memory model put forward by Daniel Willingham. So this idea of the student is in their environment and we have to focus their attention. The content enters their working memory, their thinking, and ideally we want it to enter their long-term memory and become knowledge that they can recall at will. Otherwise it's forgotten, and that's what we don't want. So this is kind of the area of memory that tech can really help with. This is where you want to start using EdTech. In that point there, really, the retrieval, going over the information again and again, ideally 5 times, to make sure it enters that long-term memory and they can recall it as at will in an exam scenario, for example. So, memory is the process of maintaining information over time. The idea here is that revision apps are incredibly useful and they can follow the rationale of the memory model. By engaging with a topic on several occasions, then the student is more likely to commit this information to their long-term memory. At Key Stage 3, we've used an app called PiXL, which the students use to revise their vocabulary. We use that for spellings, and our next step with that really is in conversation. We want them to use these new words in their speech. Tassamai for us at Key Stage 4 has been a hugely impactful app. I was just saying to some of the guys before, one of my students who's now in Year 12 approached me and said that she feels like she went from a 3 to a 5 because of Tassomai. Not me, teaching her for 3 years, just that. So thanks, Lucy. So spaced learning and interleaving is a key part of Tassomai, really. It starts to adapt to the students' answers. So I tried to say the algorithm's a bit like TikTok, give it a bit of cachet. You know, what you need to learn is going to start to come your way after you use it. As a teacher, it's so useful. You get a dashboard and you can see the accuracy of your students, and then that's helped me kind of think about seating plans and things like that as well. I've tried to put certain people together. It's helped me to know what I need to plan going forward. So yeah, it's been really useful. We have been really lucky, as I say, though. You want to get that culture. I think it's come up a lot today, hasn't it? This is what we do. I love that idea of this is part of our day-to-day, really. So practice that is spaced out and interleaved with other learning and vary produces better mastery, longer retention, and more versatility. And I think that's really a really important idea to keep in mind with any introduction of tech in your setting and when you're thinking about retrieval. So our school already had this established system, as I say, and it's been really successful. So adding it to your settings, it's just something for you to think about really when you go away today. Make it part of your culture. I feel like I'm repeating that a lot, but it's so important in terms of everything that you do. Really, it's in every single one of our lessons, and it's a key part of our home learning. Consider the key knowledge and prior knowledge students will need to access your lesson. We talked a little bit today about the curse of knowledge. So you mustn't assume things really before you leap into that lesson. You've got to check that they know things, or the lesson is doomed to be a failure, really. Implement a robust system with the app, whichever app you choose, and make sure that it is part of your language, that it's part of your routines and things like that. We have key days when we check our Tassomai, and we have days where then there's clubs to go and do it, and there are homework clubs that you can go and get it done. Expose your staff to the science of learning behind it. I think that's why buy-in with us has been so universal. This isn't opinion, this is, as you're saying, this cognitive science behind it. Make your staff privy to that. And please remember that retrieval is a way of learning, not a way of assessing learning. Thank you.